In this video, I will teach you the minimum requirements for life in the game of Tumbleweed. This is the second video in a series on the basics of Tumbleweed. I assume you already watched the how to play video and that you know the rules. Otherwise, click the link in the description and find out for yourself. In Tumbleweed, a stack is alive if it cannot be captured by your opponent. Some stacks may be captured if you don't defend them, but unconditional life means it cannot be captured no matter what happens. And there's one simple rule to make unconditional life, because capturing a stack involves making bigger and bigger stacks. For a stack to live, the stack size must equal the maximum possible number of enemy lines of sight. Different positions on the board have different numbers of possible lines of sight. The corners have 3, so a 3 stack in the corner is automatically alive. The edges have 4, so a 4 stack on the edge is alive. And the center has 6 maximum possible lines of sight. This is why 6 is the largest stack size in all of Tumbleweed. So if you're surrounded on all 6 sides, you need a 6 stack to live. Anything less could be captured. But for groups of multiple stacks, enemy lines of sight may be blocked by friendly pieces. Here, each red stack has 1 friendly neighbor, so we can only see 5 enemy lines of sight. So red can live with 5 stacks instead of 6 stacks. Both red stacks need each other to live. If one of these was any smaller, they both die. This means if you have a linear group surrounded by the enemy, it must be capped by 5 stacks, while stacks in the middle of linear groups only see 4 enemies maximum. So, red's linear group here only needs a 4 stack in the middle position to live. This goes for linear groups of any length that are surrounded in the center. Groups that are more compact are safer because they block more enemy lines of sight. For this triangular group, every red stack has 2 friendly neighbors. So, 2 from the 6 possible enemy lines of sight are blocked. Think about it like this: 4 stacks on sharp edges are alive. You can also get blunt edges where 3 enemy lines of sight are blocked. So what does red need to live here? Pause the video and guess. That's right, you need 3 stacks to live on blunt edges. Here's the smallest shape that can live completely surrounded in the center using only 3 stacks. 3 stacks live on the edge much easier, however. They do this by capping linear edge groups. So what does red need to live here? A series of 2 stacks and a cap of a 3 stack. Any less and the whole thing dies. But let's say, instead of terminating in the middle of the edge, you have a line spanning a whole edge. Then what? Then you don't need a cap. Boards spanning straight lines are alive with 2 stacks, if nothing is behind them. That applies to all straight lines of 2 stacks. If they span the whole board with nothing behind them, they live. But if there is even one weak point, like a missing or a smaller stack, the wall will get broken down. But usually walls are not perfectly straight. Actually, they're rather twisty. What does red need for this slightly bent wall to live forever? If you can remember from before, you need a 3 stack for blunt edges. Do you remember what is needed to live on sharp edges? Red would need a 4 stack to keep this wall. Sometimes you get walls bending the opposite way. Here, red only needs a 1 stack at this concave edge, and the whole structure is safe. It looks dangerous, but some board spanning walls can even be capped with 1 stacks. So those are the basic patterns for life, but I want to tell you one more thing. If you have more friendly lines of sight on your stacks than your enemy has, then enemy captures are suicidal. For example, here, white has 2 lines of sight on these red 1 stacks, but if white captures the 1 stack by making a 2 stack, red can immediately recapture with a 3 stack, so red is alive here too. So adding more lines of sight is another way to keep your groups safe. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have fun.